Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you can recognize your brilliance and change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Now, Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, creator of Namology Science and author of the best-selling book, Know the Name, Know the Person. And in every show, you get to hear the fascinating ways that other people have discovered the genius in themselves and what they were able to accomplish. At the end of tonight's show, just like every show, you get to hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. Our expert tonight is Sharry Edwards. Now, this is the fourth time I've asked her to be on my show, more than any other guest, because her knowledge is just fascinating and she is so generous with the information. She has done the most remarkable job in breaking the sound barrier of disease and interpreting how sound affects our health. Now, you know that my book will come out later this year on how names affect our health, and she's way ahead of it with sound. We're all concerned about health at the moment. Now, Sharry has been accused of being too scientific by some and too esoteric by others, when in fact, she's actually the bridge between the two worlds. Sharry is the acknowledged pioneer in the emerging field of vocal profiling, and she uses bioacoustic biology to do this. She has provided the leading edge research for years to show the frequencies of the voice can be used to create a holographic representation of health and wellness. Now, her research has caught the attention of large pharmaceutical houses, government agencies, alternative health providers, and those who wish to create a better future. Recently, AT&T declared that bioacoustics is the medicine of the future. Now, Sharry uses bioacoustic frequency patterns to shed light on what's happening in our bodies. Now, this is not used as a diagnostic tool, so I just want to let everybody know that. And it doesn't label anybody with a specific disease. Instead, it's used to assist in the understanding of what's happening in the body, like inflammation, nutritional deficiencies, and other health challenges. Now, all of this is done based on sound. Now, for legal reasons, I'd like to reiterate that bioacoustic frequency does not diagnose anyone's disease. So, for health conditions, you've got to see your physician. However, bioacoustic frequency is a remarkable tool for understanding our own bodies. Now, she was named Scientist of the Year in 2001, or was it 2002, Sharry?
I don't remember.
Oh, I love that. Anyway, by the International Association for New Science for her work in bioacoustic biology. And the reason I was asking is someplace I read it as 2001 and other places I read it as 2002. Okay, she's currently the director of the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology, which provides tools and solutions that create a new paradigm for health. And since so many people are concerned with the current state of healthcare, bioacoustic biology allows you the opportunity to be in charge of your own health and to know what's happening within your body so that you can make wiser decisions. And she's been acknowledged by so many organizations and famous people and encyclopedias even, and you name it. So I just want to get right to it because her knowledge is so fabulous. Welcome, Sharry, to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You.
Thank you. That was such a wonderful introduction. And we've got this big plaque on the wall about Scientist of the Year. I'm going to go look up the date.
Yeah, we can do that during a commercial break, right? Okay, first of all, today in the news, there's a county in New York that now has declared that if you are not vaccinated with current vaccinations and you have to carry your papers on you, they are going to sequester you in your own homes. And you won't be able to leave until you get vaccinated, except for to go directly to the doctors and get vaccinated. How do you feel about that?
I think it's horrible, and that's one of my number one things, that people don't feel safe anymore. And that's one of my things about helping people find a foundation to feel safe. I'd move out of that county. How can they do that? This is going to come about, they're going to look at this like sacrificing virgins for a good crop. Is silly. I have tried to convince these people who are saying all of this, we have to be vaccinated, that we need a pre-test to see who's going to react. And they just turn around and call me all kinds of stupid.
Well, and everything I've read says nobody should get a vaccination before age 3. And yet they pile us full. And there's now over 50 vaccinations that we're giving our babies, where before we'd give them a few. And they don't have the immune systems and their bodies aren't developed enough to take on all of those vaccinations, let alone so young.
There's this really stupid movement out that mother's milk is not good for children, so they should feed them out of a can of artificial milk. These people are just out for your pocketbooks. They're too stupid.
Well, I just look at that they're trying to hurt us all because they're saying that the good stuff's bad for us and the bad stuff's good for us.
Well, it's one of the things that we're trying to counter. We have a program called Prevac that we can look at these kids and see if they're ready by the right biflavonoids. And if there's a group out there listening that want this software, we will give it to them so we can help save these kids.
What about the binders? I'm always concerned what binder they put in that vaccination or that vaccine.
We've done a big study about that, and it's in our database on Prevac. The hematogglutinins that they use in there to make the virus or bacteria or whatever stick to your cells, that's one of the most dangerous things. It's very akin to the lectins that Dr. Grundy says make your gut permeable.
Yeah, so everybody gets leaky gut anymore. I just know too many people that have that. Can we talk about for just a moment the redundancy in the body And if we have what's going on and how redundantly our body tries to tell us what it needs.
I think if we just took one cell or one little tiny, tiny piece of ourselves, it would be a holographic representation of all that we are. I think iridology and your name and CAT scans and psychics and medical histories, and there's so many things that we as a species are looking for to tell us who we are and what's going on in our lives. It's this as above, so below. And you figured out from people's names, their nicknames, and how important they are. We've just figured it out from the frequencies that they speak. Their brain is the central processing unit, and it's frequency. And early on, I could hear these things in people's voice. And we begin to computerize if they had that note in stress, like an out of tune note in a song, then we knew they were going to get diabetes. We just kept records for about 30 years. Finally, in 2004, we released all of this, and then Mayo Clinic and MIT and a lot of other people picked it up, and they're using it. But if we take your vocal print and we look at it, and it's like that person over there that had a heart attack, we can make some connections in what's going on with your health. We've created a workstation online, soundhealthportal.com, for people to go test themselves. I just wish we had a place where we could test hair and blood and skin and breathing and names and put it all together in one pot, so we could immediately point to what's going on with this person, because I think we forgot how to heal.
Well, and I think the body can heal itself so well if we just give it the right minerals and vitamins and nutrients.
Well, yeah, listen to it. I have a degree in dietetics, a useless 2-year degree in dietetics, because my teacher said we get all of our nutrients in our food. We don't need anything. Look how stupid that is, how out of touch with reality, and they're teaching it to people in school as gospel.
You know, it's criminal, and I look at even just the 4 food groups that they tell us that we have to have, and I think, yes, but what about all the vegetarians? They obviously don't need that meat and dairy, and they're very healthy if they're eating it correctly.
I think that comes down to food groups too, because I know some people who try to be vegetarians and they make themselves very sick. So we need to be able to test people, probably from their blood, to see what's really going on and what's good for them, instead of what's the trend today.
Well, there seems to be a lot of trends. So I'm always wondering, like Stephen Grundy's work is out and talking about the lectins, and then he talks about what not to eat. But a lot of what he says don't eat, I look at people have eaten for years, and unless there's GMOs in it or something, you know, maybe they've changed. I don't know. So it makes it very difficult to really know, is this the latest fad, lectins, or is some of it true? Is all of it true? I mean, anymore, we get so much information and we don't know how something is true. So we need to stay tuned to know the name, know the genius in you, because we need to take our first break. We'll continue this discussion afterwards, and we'll find out about Big Pharma and how government is forcing individuals to take charge of their own health. You're listening to xzbn.net radio, and we will be right back.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Sharry Edwards, whose website is soundhealthoptions.com. And before the break, she was talking about Sound Health Portal, where you can go in and test your own voice and see what it's saying about you. Now, we promise you we get right into pharmaceuticals and what's happening right now in hospitals. I want to discuss that, but I'd first like to address something, Sharry, that you said right before the break also, is that you know that from certain notes you're missing that people will later on get diabetes. And in my research with names, if someone has an O in their last name, it means that they've inherited the predensity or predisposition to get diabetes from the family.
Is that from their original name or married name or what?
From their birth name.
Wow.
Because the birth last name is what's indicating what you're getting from your parents. And so you look at what are you inheriting from the genetic makeup, and it sits in the birth last name.
That is so true of my family. The last name is Holland, like the country.
Mm-hmm.
And all my brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles from that side, they all have diabetes.
Yeah, so you inherited the predisposition towards it if you have an O in your last name. And so I just find it interesting. You do it through sound, I do it through letters, but that's one that I've discovered coming through.
We need to look at people with leaky gut and see if we could look at their name or their sound with us. We just did a show about this tonight. We just created a new database, and people can go on the portal and have their voice evaluated and see if they have this leaky gut that Dr. Grundy is talking about from beans and lentils and that kind of thing. But this is what I think is happening. There's a frequency for glutamine and glutamic acid. There's a frequency for glyphosate and MSG also. They're very similar. So here's a cell, and the cell wants to have the good amino acid, the glutamate, and it's the same frequency as a GMO, the glyphosate. So the glyphosate beats it to the cell, the door is open, it goes in, and it's the wrong stuff. And it's about numbers. The cell could want a 10, but a 5 and 5 is a very balanced 10, like a good amino acid, and a 9 and a 1 is very unbalanced. So we have poisoned ourselves with these artificial things that our body doesn't want. So it either shuts down and shuts the receptor, or it punches a hole in the gut trying to get out, and we become allergic to ourselves because we've put all this poison on our food.
And that's just scary. Now, I have found two things so far with leaky gut. There may be more in a name. And one of them is if you have a predisposition inherited by your last name, it would be the letter C. And if it's in a different part of the name, it means you could do it to yourself, knowingly or unknowingly.
From the food you're eating?
From the food you're eating.
So from the last name again?
If it's from the last name, it's in the letter C, but that means you've inherited that tendency from your parents, from your DNA. And if it's in the first or the middle name, it means you've got a predisposition to do it to yourself through your eating habits.
Is this the book you're writing?
Uh-huh.
Awesome, girl.
You know, it hopefully by the end of the year. First is coming out, the third book in the series came out this past January. And next is coming out, not very much longer, will come out the first book in Spanish. And then after that is coming out the second edition with a lot of updates on Know the Name, Know the Spirit, which is how you find your own purpose in life and why you're here, and even more on how to read that name to get those accurately. And then at the end of the year, I'm hoping that the Know the Name, Know the Health is done.
Can you do this backwards? Say, talk to parents, and this is what they want in their kid, and make up a name?
They could. A lot of parents will call me and say, I want a child that's like this, and so what name should I name them? And when there were still only 7 religions on the planet, they all agreed that the incoming soul impresses them upon the person that's going to name them what the soul wants to be called. So we name ourselves. So I always say, go with the name that you're getting, then call me and let me help you spell it so that they get the lessons that the soul wants, but they do it easier.
Wow, that relates so much to my first daughter. I had a name picked out for her, and the first time I laid eyes on her, she stared up at me and with this mean look and said, "My name's Ricky." And I had this frilly girl name picked out, and boy, does that name ever fit her.
Yeah, and the soul gets it across somehow to the parents, or to whomever's naming them, because it's not always parents. For an example, in Turkey, it's the oldest male relative that names them. And so different cultures around the world have different naming, protocols. But whomever's going to be naming the child, that's the one the soul impresses with what they want to be called.
Do we mess up ourselves and give ourselves disease and stress by changing our name?
You can introduce that, but if you realize that you're introducing that when you change a name, you can also negate it, which is part of what's in my book, is only if you go in unconsciously and you don't know what's happening, you just take it on because you absorb it just like you absorb your culture that you're living in. But if you go into a foreign culture, which would be a new name, and you're aware that, hey, this is what's available in this culture, but I don't have to eat it, I don't have to drink it, I don't have to take it in, then you stick with what you originally had and you're not taking on more.
Well, do we mess up our frequency? We should do that. Take vocal prints of people who have changed their name and talking about the change to see if it has anything to do with their health issues. What a great project.
That would be fabulous. What I think is very interesting is how some people consciously change their voice patterns. Like, for an example, I have a drama minor, and I was literally told my voice was too high. and that I needed to lower it. And I worked really hard at getting it on a lower volume where it could be easier heard and digested and not squeak.
That and what we're doing, that relates to how people use hormones. Did you notice any change there?
I was young enough, I didn't realize I had any problems, so I don't, so I wouldn't know, you know?
We have a free computer program for people called Nano, N-A-N-O, voice, and people can talk into it, and it'll give them a printout, and they can choose all kinds of voices and all kinds of topics and see where really their foundation is, what's real for them. And the computer program never keeps the words. It only keeps the sounds, so nobody ever knows what you're talking about. But people can download. That's the very first program we wrote because we thought all these oughts and shoulds and peer pressure and parent pressure that people just got so programmed that they didn't know who they were, what they really needed. So they can download that free at nano, N-A-N-O, voice.org.
I think it's wonderful, all the freebies that you're sharing and giving away, Sharry. It's just amazing. You know, I haven't done your name this show, even though I've done it every other show. Are you ready for more about your name?
Yeah, no, I changed my name.
Yes, I'm going to go back to your birth name this time. I've always done your change name.
Okay.
Okay, so on your birth name, and I know what it is, but I'm not sharing it because that way you can or can't, whatever, it's up to you. But in your birth name, it says that you have, in your change name also, that you have fairness issues. But in your birth name, you have what I call a combination that says people will try to take from you what you don't want to give. And when you go by Sharry, you've dropped that out. And so it would have shown up as people take your ideas and claim them as theirs. It's a type of theft, or it can be a physical theft, or it can be a material theft where somebody steals from you, from your house when they're visiting or whatever. But it's people can take from you what you don't want to give. And so when you changed it to Sharry, you've eliminated that. So after you have Sharry 7 years, which you have, that should be minimized instead of being a constant reoccurring theme.
It still is going on. And I think it's because I'm a Cancer and everybody sees whatever belongs to me belongs to them, including bookkeepers who forge things and people who steal equipment out of the office. And a lot of it is because I just don't watch close enough. I'm doing too many important things that will change history.
And you know what? I wonder how bad it would have been had you stayed with the original name versus changing it. Because having changed it, it minimized it. And I can see how the underlying name is always underlying. It's always subtle. It's always there. And it's one of the challenges in your name. You
said something, Sharry. That's what I changed it to from Sharon.
Right.
And I'm wondering, Sharry, like a sharer. And you just said I share everything, almost everything. We have to have some money to keep the doors open and the rent paid.
Okay, hold on, Sharry. We've got to go to a break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. After the break, we'll find out how different software programs you can use to increase your own health. And you're listening to xzbn.net, an X Zone radio station. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, The 70-Year Cover-Up Exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Sharry Edwards, who is a pioneer in bioacoustics and whose website is soundhealthoptions.com. Now, Sharry, right before the break, you were going to talk to us. You asked us something about the name Sharry with the share part. People that have that in their name are very sharing, okay? But because it ends with an E sound, it also means a very generosity of heart. But the challenge that comes with that name is also people will take what you don't want to give.
Yes. And I tend to give away everything, or at least as much as I can, without running my company's well dry, which I've done a couple of times.
I know the challenge. Okay, so we want to just touch on pharmaceuticals real briefly before I want to go to your fat campaign and what you're doing with weight loss. So talk to us a little bit about pharmaceuticals, hospitals, and what suggestions you can make for people that are been recommended to take pharmaceuticals, what they can do, and if doctors give them advice, how they can check out if that's decent advice for them or not.
One thing that we can do is compare their voice with the frequency of the medication and see where it lays down on their voice. If it's too high in their voice, it's likely to be detrimental. Too low, they may need more. but we can test people against their own medication, and so can they. We train people to do this on our portal. The other piece of it, I'd like to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
I fell off a 2-story balcony a few years ago and busted up 3 vertebrae. So I was in a bit of pain. I wanted to go see my son in North Carolina. It was the holidays. So I asked the doctor for some medication, and he wanted to give me oxytocin. I said, oh, no. Just something to take the edge off because I can't sit in the car very comfortably. So he gave me something called Vimovo. And I went to get it filled, and they said, that'll be $60. No, we have insurance. We have really good insurance. We have 2 insurances. They said, these 30 pills are $1,700. Your copay is $60. It gets worse. I called a pharmacist, a friend in Canada. I said, how much can you get these pills for? He said, $54. So with my copay, I paid every penny of it plus $6. And the insurance company turned around and billed government $1,700 using my name. It gets even worse. I looked into the pill, and it's nothing more than naproxen, which you can buy right over the counter, and Nexium right over the counter. Both of them ages old. Both of them totally looked into and produced or pronounced safe. So for $40, I could buy these off the shelf, and the government and insurance companies, and this has been allowed through some kind of lobbying problem. I don't know what to call it. But why would something I could buy in Canada be $54 and be $17 here, and I have to pay full 100% of the pill? And somebody uses my name to collect $1,700 and stuff it in their pocket free and clear.
That just sounds criminal.
Yeah, I was going to say that's criminal. It needs to stop. There's a lot of people out there trying to reduce the cost of pharmaceuticals. Well, because this made me mad, I went out and started looking at pain pills. We can now, and we're not at the end of the project yet, but we can replace pain pills. We've done it for people with migraines and trauma. So pretty soon, there's going to be a sound. It's available now. We just don't have any way to get it to the public and mass produce it. But it's coming. The drug companies are going to have to back off because we can use the frequencies to do the same thing, and most of the time with no side effects.
That's what's really incredible is not only does it work, but there's none of those negative side effects. I mean, I listen to commercials sometimes on the radio. I haven't had a TV set for 29 years, but I listen to commercials on the radio, and it talks about this drug or that drug, and then it has to list all the side effects legally. And I think if you're listening to those side effects, why would you ever want to poison your body that way and take that chance?
Because we've been hornswoggled to trust our doctors, and they are being hornswoggled by the pharmaceutical companies that's something good. And every other commercial is a pharmaceutical.
Well, they're the ones with all the money.
Yes, absolutely. And they're lobbying the government now to bring in the money from foreign countries without a tax penalty. So they'll even be more rich to give more money to candidates. I look at a candidate and what companies help them raise money. And like you said, it's criminal. When I look at capitalism, and that's what some of the government, our elected officials, are really pushing aside for socialism, what they don't realize is there's 2 kinds of capitalism. There is compassionate capitalism, the local mom and pop who gives you credit, our company that is much more concerned with health and money, And then there's callous capitalism, like this Vomovo company, I don't remember which one it was, and all of the things where they take your money and your health. I was going to cuss. I'd be darned.
You know, you have the most interesting campaign that I love to partake in. You know, when you do your radio shows, Sharry, I am right there listening. I often don't say anything, but you've heard me speak up occasionally when you're doing your testing and whatnot. I am so fascinated by your work. You have this campaign to help people with fat or weight, and you're looking at how does weight show up, like in Rosie O'Donnell and Kelly Clarkson, and what have you learned about weight?
Everything is individual. People have weight problems for different reasons, whether they can't process fat because they have a fatty liver and they go on certain diets. There's as many diets as there are people, it seems like. But we are able to take someone's vocal print and look at why they have an issue. Is it lipodemia? Does the fat go in the cell but can't get out because they lack AMPK? Have they kicked on the hibernation gene? Is it nutrients? Is it their Krebs cycle, their energy cycle? Is it leaky gut? Because nobody tests everything that it could possibly be, but we are really trying. And that's why we have opened our Sound Health portal to people for 30 days free, so they can go in and test themselves and see what's going on. That's a demonstration we did this evening, and I'll put that up on our site, or I'll send it to you so that they can watch this hour demonstration of how to do this. I believe people who are overweight are so discriminated against. They're seen as lazy and stupid and it's
worthless.
A disease. Worthless, yeah.
Worthless.
It's a disease. It's no different from who had a heart attack. There should be no more judgment. You know, when we started this series with Oprah, because she's put that out there, what she's doing with her weight, people wrote me how horrible I was because I was judging people because they were shaped a certain way. They don't see fat as something protective, like the new mother who puts a layer of fat on the belly to protect the baby, or it protects you from a toxin, or it makes the lining of your gut or the insulation on your nerves. Fat is good, and when you put it down on a place that shouldn't be, like under your arm, that signals insulin resistance. So we showed all of that on our demo, and we're going to be doing more of that because I think people have been neglected and judged, and I want it stopped.
You know, that is so amazing. And it is. You know, when I left China in 2009 and moved back to the United States, they were showing commercials on a skinny Chinese person and one with a little bit of weight on them, and literally talking about how this person was eating too much and more than their fair share. And we all need to be like this. We all need to be skinny. And I kind of laughed, but I kind of thought how sad, because they're introducing judgment into their society. And it's the same kind of educational video that the Chinese put out, like on how not to push forward to get into the subways, because everybody was pushing forward, nobody could get out. They had to teach them how to do that. And before they had the World Games, they had to teach them how to use trash cans, because they just dumped it on the floor, and they have so many people that they'd pay people to just clean up one block over and over and over again. Well, stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, because after the break, we're going to find out what Sharry Edwards has in her name that you might have in yours. You are listening to xzbn.net, an X-Zone broadcast radio station, and knowthename.com. Stay tuned.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Sharry Edwards, who is a leader in bioacoustic biology. Her website is soundhealthoptions.com. So, Sharry, I want to make sure that everybody knows how to get a hold of you, how to use your website. What should they do first? And if they want to work directly with you, what do they do? How do they contact you and all that other good stuff?
Well, they can take our classes, and we have 2-day free classes that people can take and 5-day research classes. They're on our website under the tab Classes, and it gives you all kinds of free materials that you are going to use in class there. The 5-day class is a little more special. We're kind of picky about who we let in that class because then they have access to our 30-year-old database. But that's the cream of the crop who come in and help us do things better. We have classes every Tuesday and every other Thursday. And everything is, we have books, we have tutorials. People can use my name to email me, just Sharry, Sharry Edwards @gmail. We try to, whatever your learning modality is, we try to help you with videos and books and hands-on, because we want everybody to have access to this, because we realize right now that people who control this, people who can use this, will be able to control you, the person. If you control people's health, you control them. And I don't want that to be the government or big pharmaceuticals companies or GMO companies or Congress. I want it to be you. And we can look at you several years out. We can see nutrients that you need to take before it becomes a problem. And we will support you every way that you can. People think that's very generous, and it is, but it's really so I don't have to do so much work.
I love this, though, and it is incredibly generous. By the way, you said depending on how they learn, a person's learning style is in their name. They are visual learners if their first vowel in their first name is A's or O's. They are auditory learners if the first vowel in their first name is I or Y. And they are kinesthetic learners if the first vowel in their first name is an E or U.
What book is that in?
My first one. It's in the second chapter in the first book. Know the name, know the person.
I thought I read that. I don't remember that. Second chapter, first book.
Yeah. Okay. And it's also elaborated in the third book. I've taken that second chapter and just repeated a very small amount of it and then elaborated because there's so much information just in those vowels and made a 100-page book out of it. And that's in the third book. And I'm happy to gift it to you, Sharry, if you just tell me where you want me to mail it.
Can you send it to my email?
I can't do it that way. I'll give you a link, though, where you can do it online. I'm happy to. But anyway, it's all there in the book. And that way, according to what their name is, you can give them the right modality of how they can best learn.
That is awesome.
It makes it easy. Okay, so I want to know also, as we're looking at this, and what you're doing, okay, is talk to us about actually the redundancies in the body. I'm going back to that because what are all the different ways that our body can tell us what it needs?
Well, from the bottom up or top down, we can do both. From the top down, it's our environment. It's how we're made like other people. We're made like other animals. From the bottom up, we're looking at us from the cell outward, and that's what your voice gives you both of those if you know what octave to look at. And I forgot the other part of your question. It was kind of a two-part question.
And you know what? Let's go on for a second, and I'll come back to that again because I was just asking about the redundancy. The different ways that our body tells us that it needs help or wants help or that we're doing okay.
I'll give you an example. When people get older, they can't open jars very well. Zinc is usually depleted. People with diabetes, zinc gets depleted because it helps make insulin. The thumb that applies the pressure when you're opening something, that big fat part at the bottom of the thumb is the same frequency as zinc. Choline, another one, is in stress right now. And that's the same frequency as your side. If you put the back of your hand of the same side in your arm and put it below your armpit, that's the latissimus dorsi. It's the same frequency as choline. And I've had 4 or 5 people in the last couple of weeks have problems with choline, like Meghan Markle. She has a problem with choline, and it's essential, absolutely essential for someone who's pregnant. I think her baby's due in April.
So what does choline do for the body?
Oh, it helps your brain and Alzheimer's. It helps create new tissue. It helps with innervation. It helps you use fatty acids. And I write a column. It's called Bioacoustically Speaking. It's a keynote. And every week we write what is in stress this week by the frequencies coming to the earth, and choline's opposites by frequency is in stress, and some of the choline genes. So right now, people can get themselves tested too for choline and see if that's a stress. Usually the more sensitive someone is, a psychic, intuitive, emotional, the more sensitive they are to the frequencies coming from outer space and then coming from other people coming from geographic locations and so forth. But wherever you hurt, there's a nutrient that relates to that. So your body is trying to tell you from the pain or the muscle cramps or the bruising what nutrients you need.
So many people I'm aware of that have lower back pain. What does that indicate?
That's usually F and F sharp. Emotionally, it's stress about money, and it's insulin resistance. Also, you have too much bearing down on you. But we could look at that. I don't know if I have it right here. Let me see if I can find. We have a whole bunch of charts that points to each muscle and tells you what's going on with it.
Are those charts in your book? And how does somebody get your book?
Most of the books that I have written are textbooks, so they just take the class. What I write mostly are softwares. I read a lot of articles. We just did articles on Meghan Markle's baby, and we did some on people who are lying. That's one of the things that really stresses people out when people lie to them. These computer programs that we share can let you see who's lying, who's withholding information. So really, a lot of this is just allowing people to know what they and other people around them are thinking without all the overlay and oughts and shoulds and TV commercials and what you ought to do.
When you were talking about your bioacoustically speaking column, how would somebody find that? Where's that located?
SoundHealthOptions.com, and then go to In the News. We change it every week.
There is so much information on your website. I know that anytime I go on it, I get lost almost because I start reading this and then it leads me to that, and then I have to read that over there, and pretty soon so much time is gone. So guys, when you go to her website, set an alarm or something if you have to be somewhere else in a certain amount of time, or bookmark where you are so you can come back. Sharry, it has just been a joy having you on the show. Is there any last words you would like to give our listeners?
No, well, there is. There's nothing wrong in your voice. It's what you do about it that makes a difference. And we can show you what's going on. So join us.
Yeah, it's so amazing, all of your work. I'm just so pleased that I got introduced to you. Thank you, Sharry, for being with us.
Oh, thanks for sharing.
Be prepared and absolutely pleased when you visit Sharry's website, soundhealthoptions.com. You know, Sharry's name indicates that she enjoys her private time alone, but that's so that she can work and that she can be creative and she can be inventive. And sharing your private time is that double R in your name, where it says that you need that alone time, you need that private time and able to be creative and inventive. When I was speaking earlier about theft in a name, if you have the combination R followed by an A or the R followed by an O in a name, it has to be an RA in that order or an RO. That means that you have theft in the name. Do you know where your genius lies? I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, host of this radio show, Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is heard every weekday at various hours right here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Tune in to hear the fascinating ways other people have discovered the genius in themselves. And if you'd like to know more about your own name, please visit my website, knowthename.com. This is Sharon Lynn Wyeth signing off.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now to receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.